Hey there! Welcome to Team Plus Plays Pathfinder. For this stream, we'll be running through a third-party adventure called New Orcs on the Block, written by Brian Lane and Helen Sabor. We'll be showcasing third-party content from both sides of the table. Adding a face to the faceless, my name is Tony Saunders. I am one of the co-founders of Team Plus, longtime author, community leader, and fan of PF2, and I'm happy to be here with some wonderful people. First, let's welcome Jamie.
Hey guys, thanks Tony. I'm Jamie Troff of Jam Troll Games. I'm lucky enough to be a content creator for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, releasing stuff on Pathfinder Infinite, like the rest of these talented people. I've got a passion for storytelling and characters, but also helping to make games easy to run. So you'll find some useful tools of mine in the NPC Index line of books. I've also worked with the amazing Team Plus on Impossible Lands Plus, and I'm very excited to be playing in this one shot by Brian and Helen. So thank you for the invite.
And next we have David, aka Dem.
Hi, I'm Dem, or sometimes David. I'm a guy who helps out in some Discords. Big fan of Pathfinder 2e, and if you're looking for me in any books, I'll have an item in the upcoming Brewmaster's Compendium, so look forward to seeing the emergency coffin.
Following Dem, we have Helen Spore.
Hi, I'm a recovering engineer who unfolds stories, legend, and table and on the paper. I'm the co-writer of Vellum and Lace, the premier Galorian fiction in Pathfinder Infinite, and author of several titles, including the Origami Folder archetype. Though lately it has all been orc, including this adventure.
And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Brian Lane of Lion's Brain Media, who is the GM for this wonderful adventure and also the author.
Hi, I'm Brian. People know me from Inkfinder and Frontiers of Magic over on Pathfinder Infinite, and I am excited to demo this adventure with these folks. The adventure we're going to be playing, this is just the first part of 5 that you can find in this Orc publication. I think we finally settled on Orcs Strong Together for the title of the whole book. This adventure can be integrated into your existing campaign on the Isle of Kortos, which is where a lot of Pathfinder 2nd Edition adventures take place. So without any further ado, I think we can go to the map. So Meravon is a bustling town surrounded by a wood-planked wall and trisected by 2 rivers that meet in a rapids-filled confluence. To the south of this busy town, a large camp of tents is clustered against a corner in the wall where green-skinned humanoids are working busily along the dirt-packed roads between the tents. This makeshift neighborhood is known as Axeside. You are all headed into the makeshift town square in the center of this camp, known as the Axe Pit, in order to help with some recent animal attacks. So why don't we go around the table? Who do we see entering the town square this morning?
Would you like to start with, Brian?
Oh, let's go the order I have in the PC folder. I've got Artemis Fact Seeker first.
Artemis he's a witch of Witches Plus. He is a dark tapestry patron witch, and he has a flesh-forged gorilla elephant, which is from Impossible Lands Plus. So that's basically a little bit of a play on the Beastmaster, but focused on a combined animal companion, so to speak. I also have a tiny fairy dragon, and I look very dark, brooding clothing. I have a pointy witch's hat, and the art that I'm using for my token is actually Quinn H on Twitter, who I reached out to, was very okay with me using Witch Hazel as my token, and I just loved the image, so I went with that. And Artemis is very bookish, but he is focused. He's very driven, and he is using the background from the adventure called Diabol Double Agent, because I am playing the Consortium like a fiddle right now.
Hopefully nobody here is with the Consortium or be a double agent.
Yeah.
Fast.
All right.
Giving away.
Blown your cover straight away.
Next on my list is Jamie with Bomba Thunderhoof.
Yes, that's right. So Bomba couldn't look more different, I don't think, from Artemis. So coming into this into the login area, you'll see a very small little poppet, a little sackcloth creature wearing quite adorable heavy armor, and he's sort of tromping and stomping along as much as a little poppet can. So Bomber is actually, I wanted to put in as much Team Plus content to this character as I possibly could, just to show off the amazing options that they've got. So whilst he is a cleric, he has got a number of options from those books. So he's an armor clad, firstly, as his doctrine. So hence the heavy armor and martial proficiency that hopefully you'll see shown off. I'm using a bunch of class feats as well, which I won't quite spoil yet, but they all come from Plus products. So basically, in brief, Bomber is, as his name might suggest, very bombastic. He is a cleric of Gorum, and he, like all clerics of Gorum, worships battle and strength, and is actually a dwarf who, through a magical blunder, no fault of his own, and he is currently seeking litigation in this, has been transformed into a poppet and is dealing with that sudden change in the only way he knows how, which is anger.
And you also have an adventure background. What is your adventure background called?
Yes, so the adventure background is... Oh, I've lost it. Where are we? Yeah, so former Abjuration Associates client. So Bomber, in his kind of former incarnation, was a pretty successful and mildly famous adventurer, warrior priest, traveling the country doing good. And he took a job for the Abjuration Associates, and through, in his mind, their negligence, ended up in the form that he is currently. So he's come back somewhat diminished, come back to his hometown to seek legal representation, to fight in a way that he is unaccustomed to, and that is a legal fight.
So diminished in form, but not in spirit.
Absolutely not.
Next on my list, I've got Helen with Danya Undying.
So Danya has also undergone a form transformation. Danya is a Leshy, and she sprouted forth from a tree that was one of the first trees to come into Axeside. And they knew something terrible was going to happen, so sent Danya back into, reanimated Leshyhood again. But we knew this was pretty dark and needed, something to help fight it. So using even more Team Plus material, in a previous incarnation, Danya had actually studied at the Ebon Mausoleum down in Geb and picked up all the necromancy you could ever want through that. So necromantic plant's going to be kind of fun to play, I figure here. But her take is I will use whatever it is to get this thing done. She doesn't know what, though. She is a Fated Oracle, which is also another thing from Team Plus. I decided to kind of play that because I did help co-write parts of this. So if I accidentally say something, that's just Danya having seen the future. But there's actually some really great fun stuff with the Fated Oracle. So it's not just meta, but this will be really fun to play, I think.
Your co-author already has some surprises in store.
I purposely did not look at the doc for 3 days.
All right, and lastly, Dem, we've got Gog Burn Speaker.
Well, the options I picked are a little bit more core as a control for all the Team Plus options. I have a Flame Druid Elementalist with the Inlander background from Lost Omens World Guide. He's one with the Orcs of Axeside, and she is trying to make sure that they're living in accordance with sort of the elements and stuff, make sure that they're not polluting the river and other stuff like that, and hopes to guide them and any potential government or other agencies here to work in accordance with her druidic ideals, and but most importantly, she wants the best for the the Orcs of Axeside.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a number of bits and baubles of various elements on her, not only fire.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's a relief. Just for the folks watching, so like I said, this adventure is designed to be integrated into other campaigns, but you can play it as a standalone like we're doing. So all of these characters, it sounds like have been designed to already be familiar with Meravon and Axeside, so we can just jump straight in. But if you were integrating into your campaign on the Isle of Kortos or elsewhere, it's just a simple matter of your GM saying, hey, the folks over in Axeside need help, and it just becomes a nice, cool side quest. So there's your little advertisement for your group. So as you make your way into the impromptu settlement and to the town square, you can notice many injured among the orc residents. So those of you who live in Axeside, you've been seeing this for several days now, that some orcs are pushing through the pain to carry out their work, but others are laid up in their tents or actually laying along the side of the road because this is not an official town district. There's no hospitals. There's not really much in the way of doctors' offices. They're really sort of left to themselves here. But despite the distress, the residents are friendly and they welcome you to Axeside. You finally make your way to the Axebit and you find your contact who asked you to join her here today. This is Reganus Cantor. She's a manager within the Meravon Logging Guild. Many of you might know that she was one of the first residents of Axeside. She was previously a site manager for the Churtle Lumber Concern. And she doesn't have an official position because there is nothing official about Axeside, but she's sort of helping to coordinate a lot of the relief efforts, a lot of the district defenses and everything. And so she is very relieved to see you. She says, "Oh, thank you for coming, and welcome to Axeside, those of you who are visiting. I wish I could give you a pleasant tour, but we're all making do right now. If you have any medical training, we would certainly welcome the help here in camp, but the immediate need is to deal with the monsters attacking us. We'll compensate you right away. We can't let the townies think that we're a burden, but we will absolutely compensate you right away."
Where
she
are
pauses.
No compensation
monsters?
necessary. Lead us to the
no,
monsters.
We absolutely insist. As for where the monsters are, they've been scurrying up beside the Adventure Club's dock while Crink has his back turned and working on his rafts. I told him his little club is going to close if those beasts attack his customers. He doesn't seem to want to listen to me. Anyway, I reckon that's where you can either find them or maybe try to lure them. I don't know.
Sounds like we go to the docks.
Yes. Let us go there.
Our enemies are
What?
by the water, it seems.
Well, you
What kind of
mentioned
creatures are these?
Oh, we have identified them. Part of the reason it took so long to figure out what was going on is because every time we turned our heads, something different was attacking us. But we finally figured out these are bunyips we're dealing with.
bunyips, I see. And you mentioned injured. Well, I mean, as you can see, I am made entirely of sackcloth, so if there's something I know, it's how to do a stitch. Show me where you're injured are, and I will take care of them.
All right, well, maybe it won't do any good to patch up wounds if there's an attack while you're patching up wounds, so we'll gladly accept your medical assistance after maybe
I see.
deal with them.
I didn't realize you were a medical doctor. That's good advice.
Sorry.
All right, any other questions for Reganus?
No, let's just go.
All right, let's go over to our first encounter map over at the Deluge Rapids. Any of you who are native would recognize this place as the Deluge River Rapids Adventure Club, which is operated by a group of goblins who wanted to cast off the burdens of fishing life and decided to open up a river raftings club. When you approach, you can see these goblin proprietors kind of stitching up some rafts, and they see you and they wave, but they don't know whether you're customers or not, so they're just going to go back to their stitching. And eventually you find your way to the dock where they launch from. This is the dock that Reganis was referring to, that it seems like these bunyips might be coming from. So, you should have your player character icons on the right side there, over on the east edge. What does everybody do? How would you like to handle this?
What do I know about bunyips?
I would
Yeah,
be
educate me on
glad
bunyips.
to entertain a nature or survival check. Or no, just nature. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I would be glad to entertain a nature check.
All right.
And go ahead and make that private to the GM if you don't mind. Let's see. Okay. You know quite a good deal about bunyips. Bunyips are dangerous aquatic predators that resemble a cross between a shark and a seal. They're found in freshwater or saltwater inlets or saltwater coves worldwide. So they're maybe a little bit farther north than you're accustomed to seeing bunyips. So that's already making you scratch your head a little bit.
Right.
One of the things they are known for, though, is their ability to shift form. Which is a little bit interesting because they're not magical. They are straight up animals. But they do have this ability to change from their aquatic form to either a snake-like form or a crocodile-like form. And so that would explain why they come from the water, but they're able to terrorize the camp, is that once they're on the land, they can get a land speed instead of, flopping about. You rolled high enough. I would be glad to give you 2 pieces of information that you would like.
All right. Do these have the water trait?
No, actually, let me go ahead and give you traits because I like to give that standard. They are medium-sized. They have the animal and aquatic traits. So
Okay.
water is usually for like an elemental or something with some magic. They just have aquatic, which means they can breathe in the water, they get bonuses to their underwater combat, or they are less hampered by their underwater combat.
I think of any weaknesses.
You don't know of any weaknesses, usually not for animals, but you're pretty sure you don't want to bleed around them.
I won't. I will keep my blood inside. Well, in that case, what are their
Not to-
saves like?
Fortunately for me, I have no blood, only flesh.
Being animals, they are pretty easily manipulated mentally.
Ah, yes. Well, I should go and talk to them then. Have a stern talking to if they're the ones that are harassing us.
Yeah.
As these creatures of water and earth shall not hurt us anymore. Does anyone have any objections to this?
None whatsoever. I don't want to get wet. Do you know how long it'll take for me to dry out?
You can attempt, but I do not think it will help, but you can try.
Yes. Well, as a druid, I must
Yes.
come to these situations with first a strong word, and then we shall see.
So you can, you might take a minute to look out over the riverbank there. They're generally not just hanging out by the docks.
Oh.
Right? Like they could be anywhere in the river. So you're pretty sure you're going to have to lure them to you. So what I would like somebody to do is describe how you're going to lure them, and then I'll have you make a check. Probably nature or survival, unless you come up with something more clever.
I don't think I'm going to be very appealing. I
What
probably don't get many poppets to eat.
Is
No.
it eating that draws them
not.
here? What can I know?
Could I ask some fish to come by?
Sure.
Okay,
This is your wild empathy, I think.
Yes, this is my. I'm just going to ask the fish to come on by.
Okay.
No
Go
problem.
ahead. And I think you still did that through the
cool.
diplomacy. Is that right?
Yes,
Is it
I
making
believe
a
so.
question? Yeah, go ahead and make me a
So-
diplomacy check.
Come fish and give
Okay.
your life for this cause.
Yes.
Yeah, you get a nice school of fish to come up to you. There's some minnows, there's some bass, there's even a carp.
Doing some cool Aquaman stuff here.
How wonderful. Then I will. I'll cast Spout on their location and just sort of like scatter them everywhere. Probably either stunned or dead or something. To try to lure over these fish. I mean,
What,
the bunyips.
What type of damage does Spout deal? Let's take
It's
a look.
bludgeoning, but like, you know, I could just like poke a few of them. I don't
So
know.
yeah, so I mean, the ones who land back on the water, like they're just kind of like they get tossed around in the water all day. But you do get a couple that hit the riverbank, and you're pretty sure you knocked them out.
Wonderful. All right.
And
Let
in
us take
fact,
it forward.
why don't you? Let me see. Spout is a saving throw. Let me just for the heck of it make a saving throw for the fish.
It's like he's throwing a stick of dynamite in the river.
Yeah. Let's do. I think it's just roll d20. See how badly they do. A 5 on the die. Okay, yeah. So one of them lands. Pretty sure its neck bends in the wrong direction, and there is some blood coming out.
Wonderful. Thank you, fish, for your blood, for your life water. As I then collect them.
Wait, I don't eat.
Does anyone want any fish before I give this? Everyone all right? Okay.
I'm sure I could do
Anyway.
something. No, sorry.
I ate this morning.
Okay, there you go. You eat one. And I rest out there.
Okay, how far are you throwing it out? Or are you walking it out yourself? How do you want to do this?
I will like. I was like, wow, here's the bounty. I mean, maybe I'll. I think it's appropriate. I like to be the elements. So I'll be at least like a little like ankle deep on the,
Okay.
I assume, sinking.
Yeah. So I should point out the raft there is angled. So
Yeah.
if you're at all worried about climbing down the riverbank, you can get down there easily. I've got notes somewhere about. Oh yeah, the river becomes 5 feet deep, 60 feet out from the edge of the riverbank. So it's a very gentle slope there, right? They do river rapids here, so they picked a good spot for it. So you can get out as pretty much as far as you would like, I would think.
I'll just like stand on the edge then, I guess, with
Okay.
a little bit to put myself in a slightly vulnerable position, I guess, because sometimes that is an important
I will
part
join
of
you, friend.
negotiation.
So
I can make
what
my
I'll
nice
ask for you
move.
now then, if everybody else wants to maybe take a minute to get into position or do any sort of like preparation or anything, Dem, if you can make a secret nature or survival check, your choice, go ahead and give yourself a +2 item bonus for the bleeding fish.
Thank you. That's my favorite
Very
new
nice.
item. I think I hold shift, right? Oh no, that's automatic. Let me try that again.
Cool.
That should have the item.
Okay. So I have the DC in front of me. I'm looking at the condition for what you rolled. So everybody, you don't see the bunyips quite yet, but you get the sense they'll probably be here soon. Everybody has 1 round to do any sort of preparation, buffing spell, anything you would like.
I shall take a glimpse into the future.
So I'll take that as a no that I can't cast wildfire on the water,
No.
or you allow me to do that.
I'm guessing that has the fire trait.
Yes.
Aquatic combat, you can't cast fire spells or use actions with the fire trait.
I will just simply.
Underwater.
Well, how about I'll just wait to cast message on one of the bunyips in case I see them.
Okay, that sounds fair. All right, and anybody else need to talk through any preparations you're doing?
I think Bond is just going to edge forward cautiously, draw his great sword, which is, probably like a toothpick to everybody else. But
Poppet-sized greatsword. One thing
he's very proud of it.
One thing I don't miss from Pathfinder 1 was weapon size.
But yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, well, it is after that 1 round that, sure enough, bunyips emerge from the water. They poke their heads out. And we can all roll for initiative. Let's see. I'm fine if y'all want to pick what you want to roll based on your preparations. For a one-time stream, I don't think I feel like adjudicating that, but you can go ahead and roll. Let's see.
See, I would say diplomacy, but perception is probably better for
Perception,
Yeah,
probably.
I'm going for that one.
me. My
Yeah, same.
wisdom is quite high.
One, bunyip 2. Okay. And I think we're just waiting for our puppet.
Oh, sorry. It's 20. My initiative is. I rolled it in.
Okay. Okay. How do I? Okay. I think I can just. Okay. I'll just click and drag it. Oh well, you rolled the highest. So. Update. Ah, here we go. Initiative value 20. There we go. All right, and then I go to begin encounter. There we go. All right. Does everybody have an initiative tracker? Oh yeah. Should be on the on the encounter tab. Okay. Everybody sees the bunyips, right? I think I made those visible.
Yeah, we don't see them on the encounter tracker though. In case that's.
Ah, okay.
It might not be important. You can hide them.
Here we go. I had them. They defaulted to hidden, but I can fix that easily. Participant and hide. There we go. All right. So JV, you are up first.
Okay. Well, as part of rolling initiative. Where's my feat? There they are. Okay, so as part of rolling initiative, I can use my first class feat from plus product, which is 2 arms. So as part of rolling initiative, empowered by the might of my deity, I rush into battle. So my first action on my first turn, I can stride as a free action towards an enemy I can perceive. So I'm going to do that and just move up closer. He's very unhappy about being wet, but the sort of joy of battle is overtaking him at this point. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to cast a spell. I think I'm just, because they're out of range for me, really, I'm just going to cast Forbidding Ward on this guy here, and on Gog, to provide Gog with a little bit of defense. And as my third action, I think I'll just cast Shield on myself. So just readying myself for when they close in.
All right, which bunyip was it that got the Forbidding Ward?
Sorry, this ping.
Northern
this
one. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, the northern one. Yeah.
All right. That was all 3 of your actions.
That was all 3 of my actions. So he's just going to move up next to Gog and say to her as he does, "I may be small and soft, but I've got a big heart and a big soul to back it up." Well, it's big to me anyway. And
big arm
readies himself.
All right. In the druid time.
Would I be able to spend like my full turn being diplomatic and or being like, "Why do you hail into these waters, creatures?"
Yeah. So the way, because I was looking at Wild Empathy. Thank you for reminding me ahead of time that all druids get that. It says usually wild animals give you the time necessary to make your case. So
Yes.
we can call that, your whole turn, or if we want to say you are making a request of them, making a request is one action. So why don't you describe what it is you want to do, and then maybe we can negotiate how many actions you want to spend on it.
Okay, I would want to. I'd be like, at first, just like, wait a second, and then I would be like, "Why are you down here? This isn't where you're supposed to be usually, and you're hurting us, and we will kill you."
Okay.
But we don't want to have to do that, so,
Why don't you give me a perception roll to sense motive on their response?
Okay. I will do that blindly.
All right, that is a number, and I'm looking at their number. Okay, so you actually notice they do respond to you. So the way I interpret Wild Empathy, it says you can make simple requests of them, right?
Yeah.
So something like, "Why are you here?" is a bit more complicated, right? Because that's on the level of like speak with animals. But as soon as you mention, "We will hurt you," they both kind of just like shift a little bit. And you actually notice that they're like, I don't know how to describe an aquatic creature as limping, but when they are like swimming with their tail, you notice that as it goes back and forth on one side, it kind of like seems to hurt a little bit. They seem to be each favoring one side, and as soon as you communicated hurt to them, like they seem to respond like, "Ouch."
Okay.
Let's call that one action to sense motive.
Okay. Then I want to be like to my party, like, "Wait, my brother in battle. It seems they've already been through a war. It seems. I think could I spend an action to ask them to lead us to where they got hurt or something like that?
Yeah. Why don't you make it? Let's call that your make a request. So let's make that a diplomacy check.
Okay,
I will lower the DC on my magic screen.
thank you. Oh, I rolled that blindly, I think.
No, well, you crit succeeded.
Yay!
And so they don't start leading you anywhere. One of them just turns, and you can actually see the side where it was aching, and you can tell there's something there, but you're a little too far away to actually make it out.
Okay. But I
That's a
approach.
big spot.
And I
Aim for
swim to
that.
approach. Would I be? Can I swim to approach?
You can swim to approach, yeah.
Okay.
It's shallow enough to wade. You're probably
okay.
like chest deep by the time you get up to
Okay.
it.
All right. So I'm not sure if I can get all the way up to it since is it like difficult terrain? But
Oh yeah, I suppose. Let's see.
I can get up to here.
Yeah. Let's say you get to that 15-foot mark, and let's call that close enough.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
What does the bunyip look like right now? Does it look like a alligator?
No, they're in their aquatic form. So
Okay.
I believe that's the art for the printed one because it's a cross between a porpoise and a shark or something.
I think Artemis is still like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
swim up to it.
Well, because the thing is, he's not actually. Excuse me, she's not actually speaking, right? Because she's just like, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like grunt at it and then jump in the water. I'm like, whoa, this is
The one
madness.
that's supposed to
Please
be
don't.
mad.
And actually,
That's my
I did
role.
tell all of you.
Oh, okay.
that bunyip is actually next, and so that bunyip will actually close the remaining distance so that you
Okay.
can see.
All right.
And as soon as that bunyip gets up next to you, you are able to see a mark on the bunyip. And I'm going to show it in the lower right corner of the screen. You see this mark on the bunyip's, what would be their hip, so to
Where's
speak.
Oh, there. What is this? Oh.
Am I able to see that from where I am?
I
Or
don't
am I a
think so,
little
but
too far away? Yeah.
But does Dem want to say, y'all
Yeah.
got to come see this?
Yes. There's something strange here.
We will take the CinemaSin and say, you got to come look at this.
You gotta come. Yeah.
And we come to Tony.
Oh, whoops.
I
No.
want to. My cat decided to come to pay a visit. I would like to investigate the mark if that's been clearly
I'm
stated.
sharing it at
It has
least.
been clearly stated.
They've been through a battle already, it seems.
I have 30 feet movement, so I think maybe I can get into the water,
Yeah, you should be fine.
and then I will roll
A sucker
a.
for diplomatic resolution, so I'll hand wave the swimming.
What do you want? I have dubious knowledge,
Ooh,
Brian. So
I love
Mm, cool.
knowledge.
Love dubious knowledge.
Cool.
do we love it? So
We love it when we remember that we have it. Ask my thaumaturge.
I want to make sure I roll this secret. So if you click this, which skill would I be rolling here? Do I know? I would think society. So
Yeah, I would suggest society or arcana. I'm also open to other suggestions.
I'm very good at society. I am very familiar
let's go
with
society.
Yeah, so that's probably my. So this is a private GM roll or blind GM roll? I think blind, right? I always
Blind.
forget.
It's blind.
Blind.
It's blind.
Private means you're
Blinded
doing it.
Private means it's just between you and me.
Between us,
Oh.
I got you.
All right, I have my DC.
So I'm confident in whatever it is.
You are no matter what you roll, you are confident. All right, so you are confident that this is akin to a cattle brand.
Oh.
Right, so it's like it's kind of on their back hip, sort of, and you recognize the symbol as belonging to a very I hate to say very rare because rare is rare in PF2, but a very little known creature known as the Damper Sand Dragon.
Ooh.
And you know that this is a basically a branding mark because the Damper Sand Dragon maintains this like herd of bunyips, like a herd of cattle, and brands them all like this.
They are chattel for the Dampersand Dragon. We should free them.
I didn't know there was a Dampersand dragon around here.
A what?
A Dampersand dragon.
Do we know anything about the Dampersand dragons besides they have?
You know that you know that they've been dormant for a long time. Like they pretty much are sealed away and like they've been hibernating or something. And so to see one of their marks out in the wild is like, whoa, that's a bit weird.
It is strange they've been gone for an age. Curious. Perhaps they escaped?
What are you looking at? I can't see from here. Tell it to come closer.
Because you are not tall enough.
All right.
I think that was that Tony's 3 actions, sounds like?
Oh,
Would have been, 2 to move and
Two
then
strides
one
and a recall knowledge.
to
Alright, it is the other bunyip's turn. It will come up. It will also present its mark.
Is it the same mark?
It is the same mark, yes.
So Donnie's gonna try to get as close as she can. Let's just say to the edge. Doesn't have to jump in the water for this. And is going to take a glimpse of the future. And that is a Fated Oracle ability. And I want to roll a Prophecy Lore check to learn more about the Dampersand dragons. I get to use Charisma instead of Intelligence. Yeah, among other things. So, did I enter that skill right in my sheet? Probably not.
I think that sounds
fiddle with
right.
the numbers. Yeah.
This is your Oracle powder.
Also, I think you had your an aura turned on instead of moving, but
That's me.
Oh, wow.
That's my error, not Foundry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't put in an aura. Yeah, I'll just use my class.
just for the
PC.
visual for the folks at home.
Never put in my aura skill. I know this isn't great to say, but my thing is running real slow, probably because I'm trying to project it right now.
Yeah. Do you want to just give me the modifier and I'll make a private roll for myself?
Okay. In 4 levels, so probably 10.
Yeah,
Unless you're-
probably is. It's
Be
correct.
the same thing as your spell.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're right.
yeah.
It's my spell,
Yeah.
so it's yeah.
It would also be the same as your intimidation, which is a plus 10.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all
There you
plus
go.
10. All right,
It's
we'll do a
charisma
D20
based.
plus 10. Okay, so you hear what's it describing? You hear Gog describing the Dampersand Dragon. You're like, I don't think the Dampersand Dragon is a cattle herder. But you also notice that the mark there is maybe a little bit sloppy. You would expect better calligraphy from a dragon.
From a dragon.
But this one just seems to be like the one I've showed you is the nice ideal stylized version. This one seems to be a little bit more like hastily made.
Oh, okay. So I think someone is trying to impersonate the Dampersand dragons, but that still is pretty terrible, actually. Here. I think it's time for me to just keep whispering and going into a... Okay, I feel like this actually isn't combat so much, but for fun, we're still going to go into a trance of secrets. If I can ever actually get anything to run here.
Well, we can also use your sheet too, so
Yeah,
that might be
yeah.
Good
Well,
point, yeah.
Trance of Secrets, that's one action, and as an oracle in my minor curse, I'm just going to keep whispering strange things, and allies within 30 feet who can hear that gets +1 status bonus to recall knowledge checks. We might have recalled all of our knowledge, but it feels like something I would do.
The bunyips hear you whispering. They're like, what's her deal? All right. That will wrap us back to Jamie.
Okay, so Bomba is kind of hopping up and down, jumping, trying to see, and then he just sighs really dejectedly, and he says, "Gog, I can't see a thing from back here. Can you come and pick me up, please? But don't cuddle me. I'm not a hugger." And then I'm gonna delay.
That's what
Nobody
they all
cuddles a
say.
dwarf. All right, you will delay.
That's right. I may be cuddly now, but I'll always be a Thunderhoof.
And you're waiting for Gog to come and carry you?
I'll come back.
Does that sound all right for your 3 actions? Go, grab, and come back?
Of course. But I'm going to disarm them of their giant weapon if you're coming along.
True.
They might not want to see that. We are doing pretty well. But anyway, yes, I will do that. I'll pick you up and put your weapon aside, and then save your battles for another time.
Yeah.
Your strength will still be needed.
So
Alright,
Bomba
okay.
comes up and Bomba sees that mark.
Very wise. Okay, so Bomba sees that mark, and as his face is sackcloth, like a kind of frowny expression sewn in, and button eyes. So as much as somebody with a fixed expression like that can look shocked, he does. And he says, "That mark, I've seen it before. In fact, it's it's right here." And he sort of lifts up one of his little sackcloth feet, and you can see he's got that same mark. I don't know if it's sewn in or emblazoned, but it's on the bottom of one of his feet.
And I should point out the mark that you have on your foot is exactly like it appears on the screen. It is much more carefully marked.
Oh.
There's no like jagged lines or anything. It's a much better job than this.
Huh.
I mean, it makes the sketch, the brand on the bunyips look sloppy.
Okay, and do I have any memory of where that came from?
You know that so when you were transformed by this magical backlash from a dwarf into a puppet, you woke up with it on your foot.
As a result of negligence.
As a result of negligence of Abjuration Associates Incorporated, yes.
That's right, that's okay. Okay, so I woke up with that. All right, I don't know what this is. You say it's from an ampersand? What is that? I don't know. I've never met one. Ampersand.
It sounds like you have.
Well, not to my knowledge. But I used to face down dragons and vanquish foes, and well, look at me now. Now I just try to avoid getting hugged all day. Damn this adorable form.
So now that we've had the dramatic moment, I think it's okay for us to drop out of initiative. Does anybody do anything for these poor bunyips?
Do you think healing would help? I mean, how long ago was the brand done? I'm not sure you can get rid of it.
I mean, it does not look fresh by any means, but you kind of get the sense anything you do might be helpful.
I don't know.
Like, I mean, they're wincing from it, and it's not fresh.
Yeah, I think of us are good at medicine, right? Yeah.
Let's tend to their wounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a round of anybody who wants to give me a medicine check?
So I have natural medicine. Can I use the natural muds?
You can
and
absolutely nature up that medicine.
Perfect. Do I get the +2 bonus from being super nature? Or for being in a natural area?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're on a river, treating a
Very nature.
Okay.
Super nature.
I know all about... so my character has a bunch of more purposeful bird marks on them. So they know all about the treatment of them. So
Okay.
because the whole scarred orc, I guess.
Right, yeah.
There you go.
And also because I'm a flames druid who uses fire a lot. So that makes sense.
Very cool.
Yeah. Medicine check. Nature check.
Nature check for you, medicine for anybody else who wants it. Or if anybody's got a good diplomacy and wants to like talk them through the medicine process, we can call that an aid. 26, very nice.
I need to double check what my diplomas. Oh yeah, I could do diplomacy.
Hey, I was going for a higher thing, so I assume that'd be against 15. So that'd be a critical.
Oh, I wasn't actually calling it treat wounds. I
okay.
just picked a DC based on level.
That makes sense.
I don't actually have HP damage for them.
Oh, hey!
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. Gnat. I love the gnat.
Tanya doesn't speak bunyip, and so it's like, it's going
Not
to be
so
okay.
much.
She's still whispering,
I'm probably scaring them.
But with that crit success and a 26 for natural medicine, you don't get rid of the brand, like that would take long-term treatment, but you're able to like put on a salve and maybe feed them some fish they haven't had in a while, and they look very relieved. And then unless you have any other business, they are happy to go along their way. And as you watch them, you see them like go very far down the river. Like they look like they ain't coming back. You kind of get that sense.
Okay,
Excellent.
good. I'm glad
Should
they
we follow
understand.
them?
I think they came from a different part than down the river. But you said that there was an ampersand, not the ampersand dragons, but someone who might pretend to be them.
Well,
Would I know of anyone who might?
I mean,
Yeah,
he would-
make me a let's do a society check, or what lore do you have?
I mean, I have forest lore, but society is also just as good for me.
Yeah. Why don't you do society? If anybody's got society, you can roll that, or if you've got if
Okay.
anybody has Meravon lore, you can do that too.
Go religion, if that's any
Who
use.
would
If this
do
is
a
some sort of-
forgery?
I would accept a religion lore, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's some sort of cult significance or something like that.
Once again, dubious knowledge, Brian.
Oh,
Oh,
dubious knowledge.
dubious
Yes,
knowledge.
yes.
The most problematic skill feat.
All right, where did these start? They started right after the crit succeed there. Okay.
Oh shoot, those were supposed to be secret. Oh well.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
okay.
It's all right.
Let's see. That is society. You actually all succeed.
Oh wow.
Artemis has a critical success. So I can tell you a few things. You have heard. I don't know if this is related, but you've all heard of this radical prophet that has been meandering around the streets of Meravon, and it even found his way to Axeside once or twice, proclaiming the wrath of Yundarun. The Yundarun. The prophet is nowhere to be seen now, but he scared a lot of the residents. In fact, that's why some of them are not even bothering to go get treated, because they're like, oh no, Yundarun is coming. Nobody knows what a Yundarun is, except Artemis Crit succeeded enough to know that Yundarun is not the name of any deity known to be venerated in the Inner Sea region. But you do recognize it as sounding like a draconic name.
Is that Doomsayer speaking of dragons again? Perhaps he's responsible.
Well, even if he isn't, he might know something.
Guess we
So
should
how about an extra hero point to Artemis for uncovering that hidden little bit of knowledge?
Are you allowed to have 3?
You can have
We're just
3,
gonna
yeah.
say yes.
Get it more than 3, yeah. No, I learned to give out 2 because then you don't have to remember quite so badly. But all right. Anything else to do at this juncture, or are you ready to go report back?
I take a fish, and I like
Grab
sear
a
it,
fish, yeah.
and I like eat it. Is that all right?
That sounds great. Is anybody
Yeah.
allergic to fish?
No,
Not my
All right,
character.
everybody gets a grilled fish.
Excellent.
I'll put it on my character sheet.
Does Payne get one too? Payne, I'll give mine to Payne if
course.
it's
Yeah.
Yes.
There is plenty of fish in the sea.
Look, if Payne doesn't get one, I'll just blow up some more fish and get some there.
I think we can find something.
Payne is happy. Nom nom nom.